thing is, like, people have to like understand, like,
This
trust is
mic
a
is not
currency.
muted. It's not muted.
Hello, everyone. This is the Crimson Cure, welcoming you to the Crimson Tower, a place where we keep a feminine foot on the neck of the gynocracy, feminism, and black male misandry. So go ahead, pull up a chair, stay a while, and listen.
Hey, what's going on, Crimsonites? How y'all feeling? As y'all can see, I got some guests in the studio. So we had a meeting of A-game greatness happening over this weekend. So we got the Bishop, Ronan, and DS1. So of course, we all awesome right here, right? We awesome.
Oh, there I go. Oh, there we go. There we go.
So who we got? Silly. Who we got? Hey, Malika. Hey, Black Jerusalem. How you doing? I know this is really late, as I tried to warn everybody, because we are on kind of a workcation. I wasn't going to be able to guarantee the time of the streams, but here we are. Hey Anime, hey Eugene, how you doing? We got some stuff to talk about. Let's give them something to talk about.
Hey.
Yeah.
Let's give them something to talk about. All right, so we're gonna give y'all something to talk about. We outside. That's basically what's happening. We was able to come outside and we were able to live our lives, as, human beings, not on the internet, see each other face to face, have an awesome time. Hey Dion, hey Raven. So I'm not going to be super long because I know that it is late. It is actually like 11 Eastern Standard Time right now.
Yeah.
So a lot of my Crimsonites are likely asleep. A lot of y'all are probably asleep. So I am not going to be super long, but I did want to touch a particular topic that, we always have great conversations. So I wanted to touch a particular topic. The only reason that I'm really, really not going to be very long is because the Wi-Fi in this place kind of suck. So, the sucky Wi-Fi and the not good connection, So, since it sucked and we got kind of a sucky connection, hold on for 1 second. Hold on one little momento. Un momento. All right. So, what are we speaking about today? Black women are afraid of masculinity. And the reason why I thought of that is because I did a video not that long ago that was Black women are afraid of femininity, right? And a couple of the comments that took place underneath that video kind of took me by surprise a little bit, because I did have some sisters that came on and were really honest and said, you know what, I am afraid of my femininity, right? I am afraid of it. So when they said I'm afraid of the femininity, hey, my love is divine, afraid of the femininity, what that made me do was think about why they were afraid of it, what was causing that fear. And I think a lot of things cause that fear. Hey, Miss Kalila. Hey, David. I think one of the causes of that fear is not understanding masculinity, not understanding real masculinity, having either not ever really seen it before, or the biggest thing about it is gynocratic teaching, particularly the way it's done for Black women. Because Black women often, we're taught to be alone. We are taught to live our lives without men, and that's a badge of honor to live our lives without men. That for some reason, us as women, we get to deny our biology, and we get to deny being able or being willing or being needful of that masculine energy that is actually stemming from men. Our mothers teach us that you don't need a man. Let me teach you how to work, how to go to school, how to get all these things done so that you don't have to depend on a man. And oftentimes that dependence is coming from an area of just financial, just material dependence on men, because even your mother does not truly understand what masculinity is, what it looks like, and what she is getting from that. So with women, we are often afraid of the unknown. Since when we don't know things, we become afraid of them. They become sources of trepidation. They become sources of just, I don't know what to expect. So therefore, I'm going to ward this energy off. I'm going to ward it off. And the way that a lot of Black women ward it off is they actively fight it, right? They actively fight masculinity when it comes to them. And another thing that Black women like to do is deny that Black men even have proper masculinity at all. And what this denial does is it relieves her of the responsibility of accepting that leadership and accepting that masculinity. Because if we can convince ourselves as a collective group of women that our counterpart men don't have any masculinity for us to accept, then that makes it where it's okay for us to remain in a state of chaos all the time. And so when we have men that come into our lives that actually show us what leadership looks like, that actually shows us this, the 4 P's, the provision, the problem solving, the protection, and the procreation. We have men that come into our lives that actually show us these things. We don't know how to receive them, because one of two things is usually happening. We aren't getting all 4, which we can then conveniently blame the men for not being able to give properly. Or the man does come and gives it properly, and we don't know how to accept what he is giving us. We don't understand what we need to do to make the road easier for him to present to us those 4 P's. We have no idea. And so because we don't have any idea, and the fear of the unknown and also a fear of failure makes a lot of Black women self-sabotage in their relationships. So we'll just start fighting him. If he begins to set down rules and regulations and groundwork for how this relationship is going to go, you would take offense right then and there at the very fact that he had the audacity to say, I am laying groundwork for a relationship. I am with the relationship. And since I'm going to create structure with this relationship, this is how it's going to go. These are the expectations to be within the relationship. And as soon as he starts and begins to lay that groundwork down, the first thing that we'll do as Black women is say he's being controlling. Because we recognize what that structure is. The structure is being put there to contain our chaos. Or in other words, the structure is put there to contain or mitigate or minimize the amount of trouble that we are going to be to. And we know that. It's like hunting a wild animal, and that animal just instinctively knows that if it is caught, it will be captured. And it won't be able to do whatever it's been doing. Something is going to perceive as their freedom, and then they won't be made to do things that they didn't think that they wanted to do or don't want to do or whatever. And Black women are typically the same way, because we are chaotic the way that we are, which is part natural and part manufactured. We have a tendency to go ahead and just start fighting, and we'll keep fighting it. No matter what he does, no matter what kind of structure. And we do that because many of us do not know what a man's 4 P's actually look like on the ground. We have no idea what it looks like. And we start blaming him for having it. because it goes against gynocratic teaching for a man to take charge and say, okay, we're going to do this, this, and this, and we're not going to do this, that, and those. Because he's not going to allow us to run roughshod over everything that he's doing. Thank you, Eugene Steele said, we as men need to make sure we're careful when and how we display our masculinity, especially to a woman who have not seen masculinity before. And I can agree with that. But at the same time, Black women need to figure that out. And the one reason why it's so difficult for Black women to figure it out is because they maintain masculine energy themselves. It's a pseudo masculine energy, but it's masculine energy nevertheless. I'm going to see if I can share something with you guys really quickly. I'm going to see if I can find, this is a video that was sent to me, and I'm going to see if I can actually find it.
Considered controversial.
Now, I'm not real sure how to make this big or whatever, or make it full screen, but I want to share a really quick video. And it's she's not a Black woman, but she's actually speaking the truth here. And this is a truth that Black women grow up with all the time, even though this lady I'm about to show you is not Black. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to share this.
In this day and age, but I want to preface this by saying I am all for female equality. I was the only girl on my football team growing up. I am a rapper in a male-dominated industry. I have a career in a male-dominated industry. I run my household, pay all my bills by myself, have my own vehicles, and manage everything on my own. But I also know that God did not design my life to be this way. I was not meant to manage everything on my own. I was not meant to be the nurturer and the disciplinarian of my children. I was not meant to be the provider and also the homemaker. And I'm aware of that. And it's my own decisions that have brought me here. And it's my own acceptance of the lies that I was taught in this society. Teaching men that they are not, in fact, the spirit heads of their households, that they are not the leaders of their households. We are shaming them for standing up in their masculinity and making decisions that would change and lead their families. And that's wrong. You know what I want more than anything in life is to have a man that spiritually leads me and my household. Why? Because I'm in that position, because I have to. And I realized that I was designed to do other things, that I was designed and powerful in other ways. And I'm tired of managing it all on my own. I'm tired of being with men that I have to raise up spiritually because this society told them that wasn't their place. Because this society discouraged them from being masculine. And now I'm in a position where I have to take on a male and female role and act as if somehow I should be managing both. Am I capable? Certainly. But should I really be? No, I don't want to. We need to start encouraging men to stand firm in their spiritual positions so we can stand firm in ours. And I feel like if that happened, we would see way less broken families. We would see a stronger spiritual society. And we would be seeing a lot of healing. I pray that that happens in my life, and if not, so be it. And I'll stand in this position knowing I wasn't designed to be in both positions. But I hope that this encourages the men out there to stand firm in who you are and what you were designed to be. You were designed specifically for a specific role and position. So what I'm about to say is considered controversial in the
Okay. So, hey everybody, hey Father's Time joining in. How you doing? Yeah, the A Game Nation is together. we assembled the Avengers. We definitely did. All right. So I wanted to show you guys that video, and hopefully you heard it clearly. She was basically saying how she had to take on masculine role because of the way in which the society is built, the way in which it discourages men from being masculine. It discourages masculinity. And we see that. That's why we call it a gynocracy, a rulership of women by policy, right? And what has to happen before you rule by policy? Policy is indicative of the environment, right? So, but before you get to policy in the environment, you have to change biology and culture first in order to get a gynocracy. Remember, we call that bioculturons. So what happens is this. We living in a gynocracy where the roles are now reversed. They gradually reverse the roles, the gender roles. First, they told them, and how they got us to that point was basically telling us that there was no such thing as a gender role, which is a lie. First, they said there was no such thing as a gender role. And then they told us that gender roles were societal constructs. Okay? And then after they got us to do that, then they started reversing the gender roles. I want you guys to understand a pattern that develops as bioculturon is, but right before the transformative effect of a bioculturon takes place, they get you to drop something so that you can hold something else. And I need my Crimsonites to understand that point. That right before a transformative bioculturon is embarked upon, the preliminary to that is to get us, to drop a certain idea or drop a certain principle or drop a value that we held, make us get rid of it, basically clean our slate, and then give us something else in its place. Because before you can give something to somebody in the place of something else, you have to take that from them. Because if you let them have it, you're not going to be able to change what they have. They're going to hold on to it because there's no reason to let it go. But you have to convince people that's biology. Changing how we look at, think, changing our mind, changing our hearts on things, on basic subjects usually. They have to get us to put that down. And then they get us to pick something up. This is when your value system is being changed, not by you, but by external individuals or groups that are looking to make your value system different without your consent or permission or knowledge. Okay? This is how that works. So in order to reverse the gender roles, they first had to make us let it go. Let go of the concept that a gender role has a viable reason to exist. We're the roles of women and men, they can be reversed or not reversed. They can be let go. Who says that we have to cook and clean? Who says that women have to birth children or nurture them or raise them? Who says that? Well, our biology says that. Hey, Dr. Michelle, our biology says that women are the nurturers and the birthers of children. And since our biology dictates that that's what our role is in terms of procreation, then it stands to reason that this is not simply a social construct. This is a truth laid out in biology. So this isn't coming from policy of the government or even policy or law of religion necessarily. This is coming from my biology as a woman says that I have a uterus, and the function of that uterus is to incubate and support the life of a child that my husband gives to me to support until that child reaches maturity and I can birth it into the world healthily so that it can begin its life and begin to grow. That is the biology. That is not a social construct. That is not something that this religion or that religion say. Yeah, the religions say it, but there's a reason why they say that. It's not just something where it's like, oh, well, we don't know what's going on and we just made that up. No. So they have to make us drop something in order to pick it up. So they have to trick us into believing that our own biology is lying to us. Our very base biology is a lie. This is the convincing. This is the part where they get you to drop your values. They get you to drop your principles. They get you to drop whatever it is that you have that's going to stand in the way of this transformative process. Right? Because they can't make you take something in if you don't let something go. You can't put a value system on top of a value system, especially if they're opposing. So if they're going to oppose, which they usually do, you got to change the way you think about it. And that's what we did as Black people. That's how we became not just feminists, but a gynocracy. Because the way in which we began to see our roles as women, it became more and more and more masculine until we got to a point where we were literally saying we don't need any men. Even on social media, I've seen stuff like women will post stuff like we the ninjas now, meaning we're the men now. We the men. And it's like, are you this eager to be a man? All because you don't know how to be a woman? And somehow being a man is easier? Well, I guess it is when you have been bred to do this. You've been bred to try to be a man as best you possibly can. Right? So of course you're unhappy and unfulfilled. Of course you're afraid of masculinity because we're only bringing on some of the more surface effects of being masculine. But we don't, since women don't have male nature, we can't truly embody real masculinity nor display it. So when your mother and her mother ran the men off, and then if you have men in your family, they're being raised in this reverse situation, you don't understand masculinity. You have no idea what it really looks like. It is there to present a structure to you. And because your chaos is so out of control due to these structures being missing at critical parts of a woman's life, by the time she's an adult, she's really bucking against that. A man that, like I said before, a man that's coming to present any structure to you is a control freak. He's a control freak. If he sticks to his guns, he's abusive. Right? if he sticks to his guns, if he holds true to whatever standard and whatever expectations that he has of you, now he's not only a control freak, abusive, he's a narcissist. That's the big one now. He's a narcissist. He doesn't let you get away with all of your chaotic mess. So therefore, he must be narcissistic, which are all basically shaming tactics against something that you don't understand, just for the sake of not understanding it. The toxic masculinity. All men are toxic when they try to bring order to your chaos. And you just heard that young lady say, I'm not supposed to be the disciplinarian and the nurturer of my children. This is how we get the children that we get. Because women are not really predisposed to the disciplinarian part. We're supposed to be predisposed to the nurturing part. But I'm gonna tell you what goes wrong with Black women and their motherhood when it goes off the rails. How it goes off the rails really for us is that we don't just discipline our children, we are tyrannical over our children. And we think that the more discipline we put on them must also mean the less love we give to them. This is how we get these continuous breaking cycles, these continuous generational curses, and we never break them. We don't ever take the time out to look at what masculinity is and accept it. Because listen, so many women, I know that you're within the sound of my voice, so many women have ran into men that they love those men. These men check every box, but because she's gynocratic, she cannot accept his leadership. So it become easier to say that something was wrong with his leadership as the reason why she couldn't follow it, rather than to say it was something wrong with my concept of femininity is why I couldn't follow it. Because the opposite of leadership is followership. We are the equal opposites of one another. When we take a look at this chart here, when we take a look at male nature versus female nature, if you look down at the leadership part, it is opposite of submission or followership. Sometimes it's not because he's a bad leader, it's because you are a bad follower. And we become bad followers when we don't understand our femininity, when we don't understand what's going on. I'm sorry. Excuse that for me, please. Don't mind me. It's something wrong with your followership. That's what's going on. And then not taking the time out. And the reason why we don't take the time out to understand masculinity is really because we never take the time to understand your femininity. That's why you're afraid of that. Those women were honest in the comment section and saying, because I don't know how to be feminine. Literally, we have adult women. And I'm not saying this to be funny. Literally, we have adult women that have the courage to come and say, I don't know how to be feminine. I don't know how. I don't know how to follow. I've never seen it. It scares me. The very concept scares me because I don't know what it entails. I don't know. It puts her in a vulnerable position, and she knows that. She knows her position is going to have to be vulnerable in order to receive provision, problem solving, protection, and procreation from a man properly. And this is what Black women are going through, the cycle. And so that fear actually paralyzes a lot of women and make them go the other way. Well, I'm comfortable in my dysfunction. I'm comfortable in my fake masculinity. I'm comfortable it's easier for me to say it's something wrong with his masculinity, which is why I couldn't follow it. This is the whole cap that Black women are doing, especially on divestment Twitter and all of that. Well, Black men don't build and Black men don't have any leadership and blah, 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 blah. This is how they're able to justify to themselves that whatever relationship that they're getting into with these same Black men, because Zaddy don't want them, the same relationship and the same men, they can just fight the relationship. You enter into them to fight. This is especially so when you run into a man that's actually checking all the boxes you said Black men can't check. And then he checks it, and then the checking of those boxes actually checks you. It checks your chaos. It checks all of the things that you want to do that you know you don't have any business doing, and you know you need to be checked. But that knowing of needing to be checked actually calls for you to transform. And that's what you don't want to do. That's the real part that scares you. You're going to have to change. You cannot be the same person. And the better the man is, the more you have to transform to even have a shot with him. And the first thing, we set up so many mechanisms to stop that from happening. A lot of Black women, you shouldn't have to change to be in a relationship. Why not? Women don't elevate or become better without the help of men. It doesn't happen. Like I explained before, men are kinetic energy. Women are potential energy. We sit and wait. That is why when it says we nest, that's the opposite of problem solving, because problem solving is a kinetic energy. Men are moving when they are problem solving, whether they're moving physically or just mentally. That's a kinetic energy. That is an energy that is doing. And the opposite of that energy is the nesting. Right? Even down on a cellular level, and I've broken this down before as well, a man's sperm is locomotive. Right? It moves. The egg actually has to be pulled from the ovary and pushed through the fallopian tube and then pushed into the uterus, where it waits. It literally doesn't do anything else. It doesn't have any transformative property at all when it is unfertilized. It is the male sperm that actually has locomotion. That's why do you think we call them swimmers? They actually are doing that, making their way in a hostile environment, which really our wombs are hostile to sperm, so that one sperm can enter the uterus and then work to penetrate the egg. It's not just a zip zip. That sperm actually has to drill its way from the outer into the inside of the egg in order to actually fertilize it, where the tail splits off, because he doesn't need to locomote anymore. Because now there's going to be a transformative process taking place. So the first thing that changed was the biology of that egg by being fertilized by that sperm. And the sperm's biology changed by the tail splitting off. Is no longer the same sperm. All right. The environment changes now. The environment where? Of the womb. The uterine lining isn't going to slough off in the menstrual cycle now. It's going to remain and become thicker with nutrients so that that egg does what? It then burrows into the uterine wall, but it only has that kinetic property now because of the entrance of the sperm, which is alive and in motion. Okay? So bioculturon actually happens on a micro biological level inside of the women. We're going to pass that culture. We're going to pass that child. We don't create the child, we pass it. We don't create the culture, we pass it. So even when we think about it on a cellular level or on a strictly biological level, bioculturon takes place because it transforms. That egg is transformed by that sperm. It goes through multiple stages before it is even recognizable as anything human. Why did I give you a quick biological lesson? So that we can understand female and male nature. You fight men when they show you their nature because you don't understand your own. You think you're supposed to be in motion when really you should sit still. Women sit still. That doesn't mean we're inactive. We're sitting still. And there's a difference. I see we got some newcomers joining in. And I definitely appreciate you guys joining me. This Wi-Fi is not very strong. So I'm looking for it to give out at any second now. So I would rather end the stream on my terms than have the Wi-Fi in the stream for me. Thank you, Ebo Sources, and make sure y'all hit the Cash App and contribute to the channel. Yeah, hit the Cash App. Hit the Cash App. Hit the Cash. Hold it down.
His cash.
Struggle gang, baby. PP loans for life. Help us. It's been 2 weeks this month. Jesus, take the wheel.
See, it don't pay. It does not pay for us to even be together at all. It really does not.
Take me to the king. Truth is, I'm tired.
Thank you, Miss PC, for the Cash App, sweetheart.
My rent is due. I tried to pray.
Thank you, Father's Time. Thank you, Carissa, for the Cash Apps. I really appreciate that.
It's the Cash App.
Really appreciate it.
I'm all doped out, hurt and confused.
You see, Ebo, we coming to y'all next.
Yes, sir.
We coming out to LA. 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 Yeah. What up, Demetrius? I gotta say it like that every time. Every time. Thank you, Expansion, for the cash out. Thank you so much. Like I said, I want to try to end this stream on my own terms rather than have.
Help us. We's broke. Look, y'all, we need some money for this
Listen,
room.
this trip wasn't cheap and it's not free. So I'm gonna need, whatever you can give me, 5 cents, 2 cents, $2, $5. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna try to split it. We're gonna try to split it and get us a number. Y'all want a number 7 in the Mickey D's? Y'all want or is it 7 too high?
I need a sweet tea.
I gotta take it for the team. I gotta sell sperm and blood.
You need 2 sweet teas. Okay, but we need a lot of money.
I'm gonna need a nap
Evo
tomorrow.
said, let me know so I can take the time off. We definitely will, beloved.
We'll take donations, cans, food.
We've been hustling cans.
Drawing blood.
Okay,
Giving
I
away
sold
sperm.
some blood today. Hey, doing what we gotta do.
Holding the door at the gas station.
Yeah, we pump gas.
Wiping
we will
windows.
pump gas, wash windows and stuff like that. So, this is what we have to do when we down here, visiting the A game family.
We gotta share a hard-boiled egg together.
I took one for the team and ate the shell of it. It's good protein in it. It's good protein in it. So I said, well, okay, if you're gonna give me the protein, I'm gonna go ahead and take the protein.
Hey, if y'all see me Miller rocking on the median, that's just me working hard.
He's just working hard, recycling. Evo said recycling A game.
We should. I do have the box.
Hey, man. Hey,
Thank you, Abraham T. said, get some water, brother. Oh my goodness. So, thank you guys for dropping in with me on a late night stream. I definitely appreciate it. I'm going to come back at you tomorrow with some more content. Like I said, don't want to leave you guys in the lurch with the content. Definitely. So we'll be back tomorrow and we will have everything together for you guys. All right. So thank you so much for the cash apps, for the super chats.
And pray for the Wi-Fi. Yes.
Pray for the Wi-Fi.
Hold us down. Hashtag Wi-Fi matters.
They are so silly. You will never believe the silliness. But I'm gonna tell you, we silly together, because I'm not gonna say them, because I get mad in too.
Yeah, she do. Don't let her fool.
But the energy here is so positive and so good. Like, these are some. Why is DS1 doing this in the back? Why is he doing this? Why is he doing this to me? The energy here is so awesome. These brothers are some of the most positive brothers that I have ever been around. Thank you, Joe Average. So here's a little something for the collection plate. Please let me know when you're in LA. Okay, you in LA too, Joe Average. All right then. Well, we're definitely, letting people know when we arrive in LA.
We're gonna have a Kit Kat.
Evo said not to sound like a punk, but I'm tearing up right now. Oh, Evo, that's my baby. Evo is my. We gonna come see you and Young Manhood. We gonna come see. Yes, we did. We coming outside. This is the year coming outside. So we coming outside, and we're gonna come to see all of our A game family.
Them computer screens.
We definitely are. And when I say the A game family, I mean Dr. Michelle too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean Sherry too. Because listen, we would not be where we are if it were not for the hard work of not only our brother Father's time, but Dr. Michelle and Sherry. These are two of the most hardest working women that I have ever had the pleasure of meeting and knowing. And it's just phenomenal. Yeah. Like, I cannot say enough about the A Game family as a whole. We have been welcomed with open arms. We have been supported 100% to do what we do and do it well.
Yes.
And I definitely, giving much love and hats off to all of the A Game family.
My bid is real. My beard doesn't come off.
It's not Velcro.
I'll sweep your porch for $5.
It's not a hair transplant.
Double C said we had Tic Tacs for dinner. Just the white one.
Just the white one.
Just one.
Just the white one.
One. Ain't no whole handfuls. No.
I had 2 Altoids this morning.
You had 2.
What?
You told me you only had 1.
Ain't got no money. Ain't got no food courts.
Thank you, beautifully animated. Say Ronan and DS1, stop eating out the trash can. Y'all crazy.
We broke. We can't help it. We
We
broke.
ain't got no money because we broke.
We poor righteous teachers. Ain't that what we supposed to be eating out of? We struggling, man.
All right, so I just want to let everybody know, you know what I'm saying, I'm glad that we were able to come through, give y'all some content. I'm going to sign off before the Wi-Fi signs me off.
Struggle 5.
And I will catch you guys on the next one. Bye-bye, Crimsonite.
Hey guys, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. And if you've got more to say on the topic, leave a comment down below. Also, don't forget to support our sponsor who so graciously supports this channel by clicking the description box and the link for A-Game at agameherbal.com. You can go ahead and get a 10% discount off of your next purchase using the code Kendra10. This has been yet another Crimson Cure production, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.
Stream though.
Now,
Turn up the light.
oh, and just so you know, AM's